Welcome to Awakening Heaven on Earth. Before we begin, take a moment to arrive. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to believe, and nowhere you need to go. Simply listen, contemplate, and notice what stirs and resonates within you. This is a shared space of reflection, presence, and remembrance. Now, let us begin. Welcome to this episode focused on honor all life, unity and stewardship, sacred text references. In this episode, we receive sacred teachings from traditions across the world that invite us to honor the earth, protect the vulnerable, live with gratitude, and remember our place within the greater community of life. We will approach each teaching in the spirit of lectio divina, receiving the words slowly, allowing their wisdom to open within us, reflecting on what they ask of our lives, and offering a response from the heart. Let us begin. We begin with Christianity in the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 15. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. Receive these words slowly. Humanity is placed within the garden not as its absolute owner, but as its caretaker. The garden is both gift and responsibility, offering nourishment while asking for our protection, attention, and faithful care. This teaching challenges every form of dominion that becomes domination. The earth is entrusted to human hands so that life may flourish, not so that creation may be consumed without limit. Now allow this teaching to become personal. What has been entrusted to my care, and am I tending it with gratitude, wisdom, and love? And now, offer this response as a quiet prayer. May I receive the earth as a sacred trust, and may the work of my hands protect and nourish life. We now turn to Judaism in Psalm 24, verse 1. The earth is the Lord's, and everything in it, the world, and all who live in it. Receive these words slowly. This teaching reminds us that possession is never absolute. The land, the waters, the creatures, and even our own lives belong ultimately to the divine. We may hold, use, cultivate, and enjoy the gifts of the earth, but we do not become their final owners. Stewardship begins when ownership softens into reverence and entitlement becomes gratitude. Now, allow this teaching to become personal. How might my choices change if I remembered that everything I use belongs first to the source of all life? And now, Offer this response as a quiet prayer. May I hold every gift with open hands, receive with gratitude, and return what has been entrusted to me with care. We now receive wisdom from Islam in the Quran, chapter 6, verse 141. Do not waste, for God does not love the wasters. Receive these words slowly. Waste is not only a practical concern, it is a spiritual question about gratitude, restraint, justice, and the way we receive the gifts of creation. To waste food, water, energy, or material resources is to forget the labor, life, and sacred generosity through which they came to us. This teaching invites us to recognize enough, to resist excess, and to use what we have in ways that honor both the giver and the wider community. Now, allow this teaching to become personal. Where in my life am I being invited to consume less, appreciate more, and use what I have more responsibly? And now offer this response as a quiet prayer. May gratitude guide my consumption. May wisdom restrain my excess. And may nothing entrusted to me be carelessly wasted. We now turn to Hinduism in the Atharva Veda, chapter 12, hymn 1, verse 12. Earth is my mother, and I am her child. May the peaceful one who made the universe establish peace in all the worlds. Receive these words slowly. To call the earth mother is to recognize relationship rather than ownership. A child does not stand outside the body that gave it life. Humanity arises from the earth, depends upon her, and remains inseparable from her living systems. When the earth is wounded, her children are wounded. When the earth is restored, life throughout the whole family is renewed. Now allow this teaching to become personal. What would it mean for me to treat the earth with the tenderness, loyalty, and gratitude I would offer a beloved mother? And now, offer this response as a quiet prayer. Mother Earth, may I live as a grateful child, protecting your beauty and seeking peace for every world held within you. We now receive wisdom from Buddhism in the Dhammapada, verse 49. As a bee gathers nectar without harming the flower, so should the wise live in the world. Receive these words slowly. The bee receives nourishment without destroying the source of the gift. It participates in a relationship of mutual benefit, taking what is needed while also helping life continue. This image offers a gentle model for human life. We also may receive from the earth without exhausting her, and gather what sustains us, without destroying what sustains others, and move through the world without unnecessary harm. Now, allow this teaching to become personal. How can I receive what I need while leaving beauty, nourishment, and possibility for others? And now offer this response as a quiet prayer. May I move through the world gently, receive without destroying, and leave life more abundant wherever I have passed. We now receive an Indigenous stewardship teaching through a saying often attributed to Chief Seattle. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. Receive these words slowly. This teaching expands our circle of responsibility beyond the present moment. The earth is not merely what earlier generations left behind. It is also what future generations are, depending upon us to protect. Our decisions become part of the inheritance of people we may never meet. The water we protect, the soil we restore, the species we preserve, and the habits we change can become gifts offered across time. Now allow this teaching to become personal. What kind of earth will my daily choices help place into the hands of those who come after me? And now, offer this response as a quiet prayer. May I live as a good ancestor, making choices today that bless the children and communities of tomorrow. We now turn to Sikhism and the wisdom of the Guru Granth Sahib. Air is the Guru, water is the Father, and earth is the great mother of all. Receive these words slowly. Air teaches and sustains. Water nurtures and gives life. Earth carries, feeds, shelters, and receives every living being. This teaching does not describe nature as lifeless material. It reveals the elements as sacred relatives through whom the divine continually teaches, nourishes, and holds us. Now, allow this teaching to become personal. Do I receive air, water, and earth as sacred teachers and relatives, or have I learned to take their gifts for granted? And now, offer this response as a quiet prayer. May I honor the air that teaches me, the water that sustains me, and the earth that carries every form of life. We now receive wisdom from Taoism through the Tao Te Ching. A traditional rendering teaches, humanity follows the earth follows heaven, heaven follows the Tao follows what is natural. Receive these words slowly. The Tao invites humanity to learn from the natural order rather than constantly attempting to overpower it. The earth does not force the seasons. Rivers do not struggle to flow. Forests flourish through diversity, interdependence, adaptation, and balance. Stewardship requires humility enough to observe these patterns and shape human life in harmony with them. Now, allow this teaching to become personal. Where am I forcing, controlling, or consuming when the wisdom of nature is inviting me into balance? And now, offer this response as a quiet prayer. May I learn from the earth, move in harmony with life, and allow the wisdom of nature to guide my choices. We now turn to Jain wisdom from the Tattvartha Sutra. Souls render service to one another. Receive these words slowly. Life is sustained through relationship. No being exists completely alone. Plants create breath, soil supports growth, insects carry pollen, waters nourish the land, and countless visible and invisible lives make our own existence possible. This teaching reveals interdependence not as weakness, but as the very structure of life. To serve another being is to participate consciously in the mutual support already woven throughout creation. Now allow this teaching to become personal. How can my life become more consciously supportive of the lives that continually support me? And now, offer this response as a quiet prayer. May I serve life as life serves me, and may my presence contribute to the flourishing of the whole. We return to Christianity through the teaching of Romans chapter 8. This passage describes creation as groaning and longing to be set free from decay. Receive this image slowly. Creation is not presented as silent or disposable. It suffers, waits, hopes, and participates in the promise of renewal. The groaning of creation can be heard in polluted waters, depleted soil, vanishing species, damaged communities, and climates thrown out of balance. Yet groaning is also the sound of birth. It carries the possibility that humanity may awaken, choose differently, and participate in restoration. Now allow this teaching to become personal. Where do I hear creation groaning, and how am I being called to participate in its healing? And now, offer this response as a quiet prayer. May I hear the cry of creation without turning away, and may my life become part of its liberation and renewal. As these sacred teachings come together, one truth becomes clear. The earth is not merely a possession. She is sacred relationship. Air is not merely a resource. It is shared breath. Water is not merely a commodity. It is the flowing source of life. Animals are not merely objects for human use. They are fellow beings within the sacred community. Future generations are not distant abstractions. They are already present within the consequences of our choices. Stewardship is the remembrance that everything belongs within one living web. What we protect protects us. What we poison eventually enters us. What we restore brings healing to the whole. So pause gently and allow these sacred teachings to ask their questions within you. Where are you being called to consume less and appreciate more? Where are you being called to protect what is vulnerable? Where are you being called to restore what has been depleted? Where are you being invited to receive the earth as a sacred relative rather than a possession? Where are you being called to become a good ancestor? You do not have to heal the entire planet alone. You can begin with the place beneath your feet. One garden. One stream. One tree. One creature. One community. One habit transformed by reverence. Receive with gratitude. Use with wisdom. Share with generosity. Protect with courage. Restore with love. This is sacred stewardship. This is devotion made visible. This is how we honor all life. And this is how unity is remembered within the living earth. As we come to a close, remember that this journey continues in many expressions. This podcast is part of a family of partner podcasts. Awakening Heaven on Earth. The Space Between Heaven and Earth, and Living Heaven on Earth are 3 companion podcasts exploring spiritual awakening from complementary perspectives. Awakening Heaven on Earth offers the core teachings and mystical reflections on unity, love, and conscious living. The Space Between creates room for dialogue, reflection, and lived conversation around those teachings. Living Heaven on Earth focuses on basic spiritual practices that help embody these insights in daily life. Together, they form a unified journey of understanding, experience, and integration, inviting listeners to remember their connection with the divine, with one another, and with the living world. You can find all of them available on the same podcast streaming platforms wherever you listen. And if music helps carry these teachings deeper into the heart, the Unity, Awakening Heaven on Earth album is available on all major music streaming services as a musical companion to this journey. Wherever you engage, through listening, reflection, conversation, or music, may it gently remind you you are not separate. You belong to the one life, and heaven is already unfolding within you. Until next time, walk gently, love deeply, and embody heaven on earth.